In this video, we're going to learn how to perform basic activation of the transverse abdominis muscle. This position right here is called the hook lying position. It's probably the easiest position to learn how to activate the muscle. So you can see I'm on my back. I can have a little bit of head support with a pillow, and then my legs are positioned as such with my feet flat on the floor. So this is the hook lying position. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find a set of bones, each called the anterior superior iliac spine, or the ASIS. There's a right one and there's a left one, and those are right around where your hip crease is. So kind of the front of your pelvis, you should feel on either side a fairly large bony projection. At some point in your life, you've probably bumped it on a counter and it hurts like heck. So those are your ASISs. I want you to touch those with your second and third digit like this. That's how we're finding those, okay? Once you have both sets of fingers on the left and the right ASIS, you're going to move those fingers directly inward about 1 inch. Not down, not up, directly inwards, okay? Once you have those fingers moved directly inwards, you're going to apply a light but firm pressure down toward the floor. So basically in the direction of your spine. In this place, you shouldn't feel any bone on the tips of your fingers, but this is the best place to find where the transverse abdominis is. So hold that position with your fingers just like that. Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to basically suck in your gut such that your navel, your belly button, you're drawing inward toward your spine or towards the floor in this position. So do that with me. As you do that, if you're doing it correctly, you should feel the transverse abdominis press into your fingers as it contracts. So draw in your navel, and then when you relax that, you should feel the muscle relax away from your fingers. This is called the drawing in maneuver because we're drawing the navel in toward the spine. And anytime we're strengthening the transverse abdominis, we need to maintain that contraction. The other thing we can do while we have the transverse abdominis contracted is we can perform what's called pursed lip breathing. So we cover that in another video, but we'll review it here. So while you have the transverse abdominis contracted and maintained, I want you to breathe in through the nose for about 2 seconds, and then exhale through pursed lips for about 4 seconds. So it'll look something like this. So draw in the navel, hold that, and then pursed lip breathing. The transverse abdominis muscle is a postural muscle of the core, so it has a low absolute strength due to its low concentration of type 2 muscle fibers. On the contrary, it's an endurance muscle, so it has a higher concentration of type 1 muscle fibers. So the best way to strengthen the transverse abdominis is with isometric contractions for longer durations. So once you know how to activate the transverse abdominis, one goal that you could have is to be able to hold that contraction isometrically for at least 10 seconds and then relax. And while you're holding that contraction, oftentimes people will do pursed lip breathing because when you inhale through the nose, it actually leads to increased activation of the transverse abdominis. And then you would exhale slowly through pursed lips, as we talked about in the clip. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and check out my Instagram for cool science and not science stuff.